You're listening to the Artist King podcast.
I am your host, DTM of DeltaTangoMike.com, and this is the Artist King Podcast, episode 40. Level up your art life. Check out the upcoming events, classes, meetups, workshops, and resources at www.artistking.org. Artist King is committed to empowering artists, entrepreneurs through education, community, and connections. Get out and learn so you can earn. Let go of the starving artist title and move into the thriving artist art life. Shout out to Mex Manny Beats and Southside Sickest for the official Artist King podcast theme music. Check them out on twitter.com/MexMannyBeats and at soundcloud.com/MexMannyBeats. This week, Artist King interviews Audra Wallace, CEO of YFusion. I first met Audra a few years ago at the beginning of the Black Book Conversations and Artist King as my wife and I researched nonprofit requirements for our work in the ATL Art Community. Audra hosts classes and workshops for nonprofits and socially responsible companies to raise capital and donations for them to continue their work. This week, Audra and I will lead a couple of workshops on how to build a stunning website and an introduction to podcasting and video marketing as part of the YFusion curriculum. Check out YFusionMG.com for more info on these free workshops and the services that can help your business increase profits. Follow twitter.com/YFusionMG for updates. A big special thanks to our sponsors, the law offices of Deborah Gonzalez Esquire, VelocityScreenPrint.net, RevolveSkate.com, Lucom.com, OHub at Giant, and DenominatorGraphics.com. Keep your eyes open for the 2015 launch of AzaleaCreativeGroup.com, professional branding and marketing promotion strategies for your business. Now on to our Artist King interview with Audra Wallace. Take a moment to introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from, what you do, and what's your full name is.
Okay, my name is Audra Wallace. I am the CEO of YFusion here in Atlanta, Georgia. YFusion is a full-service marketing firm that works with nonprofits and small businesses to help them maximize their revenue, increase their reach, and grow their brand. We do this through social media management, email marketing, content management, and also interactive digital marketing.
Oh, very nice.
Thank you.
Sounds like a lot of work.
It is sometimes, but it's fun.
Yeah?
We enjoy it.
When did you think that was a career path you wanted to take?
Well, I think I was still working for someone else when I kind of realized that the old way of thinking and doing business was just not proactive anymore, and it was time for a change. I was working at a large nonprofit, and they were used to just putting their hands out and asking for a check and expecting someone to write a check for them.
All right.
Yeah. And so it was right around the early 2000s, and the economy kind of dropped off. And I realized that I had to start really thinking outside the box in order to get the new donations to come in and to recultivate existing donors. And this was right around the time that social media started to grow. So we did online campaigns, fundraising campaigns before there was crowdfunding, and really worked with what we call team raisers, where you would have a team leader and he would go out and recruit his friends and families to join his team and raise funds. And we made it possible through email marketing and social media. And we were greatly successful. And as a result, I realized that while I'm making millions for other people, I could be building my own empire.
And the light went off?
The light went on.
That's it, huh? So tell us a little bit about your history. I know a little bit about it. So tell us your beginnings into the entrepreneur creative field. I know that you did modeling.
Yes.
And how did that start off? What was the encouragement you had in those days? Who encouraged you, and what made you decide to take that step?
Okay. Modeling came about as one of those made-for-TV moments, I guess.
Okay.
I had won the title of Miss South Carolina and competed in the Miss USA pageant.
Okay.
In the Miss USA pageant, I placed second and had returned back home. I had a really good friend who was a reporter at the local news station.
Mm-hmm.
I had never done any modeling or acting or anything like that.
You hadn't done modeling before the pageants?
Never.
You just entered a pageant?
I entered a pageant in college, and because the prize was $500, and won.
Okay.
And that pageant went on to Miss Clemson,
Mm-hmm.
and I won that, Miss Clemson University.
Oh, wow.
And there's a little controversy there. I was the first African American ever to be crowned Miss Clemson University.
Wow.
And that was supposed to go on to the Miss South Carolina America pageant.
Mm-hmm.
And they decided a week after I won the competition to not send anybody to that state competition.
Okay.
And so the local pageant that I won, they decided to pick up the charter and send me to the Miss USA version of Miss South Carolina.
Okay.
And I ended up, actually the first year I did, I ended up placing second. I placed second to Nancy Humphreys, who is now Nancy O'Dell.
All right.
For Entertainment Tonight.
Mm-hmm.
And the winner was, she went on to be Miss World.
Oh.
So I was encouraged to come back the next year. The next year, I was crowned Miss South Carolina USA, the first African American ever win.
Okay, so just because there was a prize involved, you said, let's try it.
Yeah, I was a poor college student.
All right, so you came in second in Miss USA.
Miss yes, and an agent from Wilhelmina saw me on TV, and he decided to call down to his to the local modeling agency in Charleston, South Carolina.
Okay.
And my friend, who was the reporter, was doing a story in the agency on modeling.
All right.
And when they called in, no one had heard of me. No one knew who I was. And she called me up on another line and was like, someone's looking for you. This agent from New York, you have to call him.
Mm-hmm.
And he flew down the next week, and took me back, well, in a couple of days, I was up in New York, and I was doing Fashion Week.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like that.
Just like that.
And how did you like the modeling industry or your experience? What was that like?
It was, it was very interesting because it was coming off, well, it was right around the time where there's still supermodels.
Mm-hmm.
This was like the early 90s.
Okay.
And I realized very early, I think because I was in my 20s, I realized that it was a business, and I had to handle it like it was a business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I realized that you had to go out and be seen. You had to do some networking. But when it came to calling the agency every morning, you had to be professional. You had to show up on time. And it was just like how it is in business, where you had to build those relationships. And it wasn't so much the prettiest girl always got the job. Mm-hmm. It was really the one that the art directors or the photographers liked. Mm-hmm. And so once I was able to build up those relationships, I was able to be successful and get repeat work. Mm-hmm.
I ask you all these questions. I know we started with what you do now and then what you did then. Because artists, I know that's like a creative thing, and artists go through that also in the beginning of their career.
Oh, really?
They're talented, they have something, they have opportunities. But unless you put that business mindset, unless you purposely get up every day and focus on running your career, then it's not going to happen, no matter how much talent someone has.
I agree. Mm-hmm. And, you also have to learn to manage rejection.
Yes. a thick skin,
yeah,
huh?
Yes. And I find that, especially in I guess, our business, modeling, and being an artist, so many people tell you no, and it may be a different reason. Like one time, someone would say I was too European looking. Another person would say I was too ethnic looking. My nose was too big or too small. And so with all of that rejection and none of it making sense, it's easy to get a complex. And I found that it was difficult to take rejection in my personal life because you were getting it on such a consistent basis. So I just really had to learn to not internalize it. And I credit a lot of that with making me a good businesswoman now that I am now.
Nice. So how did that transition happen from, the modeling into branding and marketing for a nonprofit?
Wow, great question. I actually decided to, I had left school to go compete in Miss USA pageant my last term of my college, last semester of my college. And so I told my agency in New York that I wanted to come back and finish up my degree, because that was really important for my parents. They could have cared less. That could have been Naomi Campbell, and they wouldn't have cared.
Right.
But
what was that degree?
I had a double major in business and English with a minor in biology.
Okay. Wow.
I know. I started off pre-med, and I had too many credits to stop. But they found me an agency in Atlanta. Atlanta was the closest market, closest Clemson, South Carolina. So they got me with an agency here. Later fell in love, had my son. Of course, that abruptly kind of stopped my career for a little while. And during that time, I realized, since modeling was something that I felt as though it was almost like a stepping stone to something else. I was getting older, I was raising my son, and I decided to find a full-time job. Plus, I was going through a really difficult custody battle at the time.
Okay. So
I decided it was best to, find something that was a little bit more consistent, allowed me to be, home more. And got a full-time job. And nothing makes you realize that you want to be an entrepreneur but a full-time job.
The foundation kind of locks you in sometimes.
Man, it was reality hit. And I realized I was working for Delta Airlines, and I would sit there and just realize that I was meant to do more.
This when you were a
flight
attendant with Delta Airlines.
Yes. And I became a flight attendant because, like I said, I was going through a custody battle. And I had a friend who, I don't know if I still call her my friend, but I had a friend who told me, you can fly and still model.
The runway was the plane?
Yes.
the plane hallway? Wow, okay.
And she lied because I was on reserve on call almost every day for the first 5 years. And, so.
Do you still have any of those miles left?
My benefits just expired like 3 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, but I have been all over the world.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So you were in that career path trying to build up something and you wanted more.
Yeah, and it's not knocking the job because it's great for some people, but I knew that it wasn't for me.
Okay.
And so doing my days off, you get a lot of flexibility. You could build out your schedule the way you want. I took other jobs with contract jobs. Started off doing trade shows with Sanowski, and with that I would go around on my breaks and visit other booths, other major companies, and find out who was the main account person for this booth. And I was able to pick up clients that way just by going out, visiting them when we were on breaks in the evenings and there were events. I would gather cards and I would follow up with them, stay in touch with them. And you did so many shows in the year that you would see the same people at the same, every time, every other show. And so I was able to pick up accounts like Nintendo,